Greetings, chess fans. My name is Arturs Neiksans. I'm still the best Latvian Grandmaster today, and I'm continuing my video series about the best games I have played or the most memorable games in my career. So in today's episode, I would like to show you a game that I will remember forever. I played it 25 years ago when I was only 16 years old, so I was not yet title player, like at all. I had no title. I was a candidate master at the time. 16 years old, I had my birthday like 11 days before the game, and I played this game in the Latvian Championship final round. This was the final round. I was leading the tournament by half a point. And my opponent was the experienced Latvian national master Guntis Jankovskis. And he was seeded in the tournament, I believe, number 3. I was seeded number 4. And we were missing some key players, the strongest players in the Latvian national team that were not playing in the championship. Their fault, anyway. And I was paired against Guntis in the final round, who was trailing me by half a point. I was playing with a white color. And everybody was expecting that this game most likely will finish in a draw, because it was a pretty accustomed thing that the leaders are not fighting out in the final round. And then there's a good chance that my fiercest competitor, who was pretty afraid at the time that he's going to catch me up, and then we're going to have to play a tie-breaks match. Either way, so this game started, final round, all eyes are on our game. So I play what I play usually at the time. I play b4. Jankovskis played c5. I played knight f3 d6. So naturally at the time, I had basically no opening knowledge, and my knowledge about the open Sicilian was basically a one sheet that my coach had given me. He said, against Sicilian Najdorf, you play this. And that's it. There was no huge analysis, no nothing. I mean, again, mind you, it was year 1999. So at the time, there was basically no chess space. I think we had Chess Assistant, a program we were using to prepare for the games. But chess space was, I think, just making the first steps. So I played the open Sicilian, something I'm not doing today. I'm a big fan of anti-Sicilians. My opponent decided to take it. Knight x on d4, knight f6, knight c3, a6. So, the Sicilian Najdorf. If you ask me, was I deliberately going for a sharp fight? No. I was just playing what I knew. That's it. I had no idea that against some opponents you can play more positional. Against some opponents you can go for a sharper fight. I played what I know. So back then, the very popular continuation was bishop e2 and e6. And why? Because the 90s, 80s and 90s was basically dominated by Kasparov against Karpov, World Championship matches, and the Sicilian Scheveningen with a pawn on e6 was a very recurring theme at the time. And back then, not so many people were playing e5, so this trend would appear later. And e6 was the typical way to meet the open Sicilian. Nowadays, the e6 move is a bit dangerous, mainly because of all kinds of G4, G5 ideas. So white very quickly grabs some space, maybe not immediately like here, but G4, G5, push the knight back to d7, and then because of this space advantage, white somehow is better. But okay, I mean, we were playing it back in 1999, so what do we know? We played Shook Castle, Bishop e7, and I played Bishop e3, which nowadays I probably wouldn't play because I think that this move in some variations is slightly inaccurate. I'm already showing my setup, so the correct move would be to play f4 to be better equipped against any black's plans. For example, if black plays something like b5, b4, bishop b7, I get to play e5, bishop f3 immediately, make a flank attack with a counter strike in the center. So I played bishop e3, I was like, okay, whatever. I just knew basically this line and nothing else. My opponent played knight c6, which at the time was like a playable move, but I knew that it's inaccuracy. So a more precise move order was a short castle f4 and something like queen c7. But okay, it doesn't really matter. Maybe it's that not really relevant. I mean, knight c6 is still a move. So I played f4, my opponent played queen c7, I played queen e1, show castle rook d1. I mean, this is what I knew, because I have to put the queen on g3 and play e5 somehow, and somehow this works. And then I go for a king's attack. My opponent decided to take on d4, bishop takes on d4, and played e5. Now, I have a vague memory, I kinda knew this line, at least the idea, that the point is where we're getting in the game. But later, some players will play against me b5, a3, bishop b7, queen g3, you see, he cannot take on e4, there's some mate threats, but still after something like rook c8, it's not so easy for white to come up. Where's this king's attack? Because if I play something like bishop d3, I need to watch out for ideas like knight h5 and knight f4 and e5, which is, by the way, a very common trick of all kinds of chevening in positions. Black kills my dark bishop and is pretty happy. So either way, it didn't happen because here Jankovskis played e5. So his idea is if I play bishop e3, he wants to take at f4. Bishop f4 or rook f4, I'm not really sure. Can he take the pawn on b2? Probably I wouldn't give it up. Being only 16 years old, probably something like rook f4 would be my choice. Then black plays bishop e6, knight e7, knight e5, maybe bishop g5, have a beautiful knight on d5, and then somehow claim a good game. But anyway, I mean, I decided to take on e5 because I knew this idea that apparently here I have queen g3. So the point is, I'm pinning the pawn, and he cannot really play bishop d6 because I'm going to take on f6. You see, you cannot take the rook, the king is pinned, and if you take on d4, the bishop is pinned. So I can just take on d6 and I'm winning some material. I knew that he plays bishop c5. So he plays bishop c5, a counter pin. Now the point is, I cannot take on e5, because after queen e5 I cannot collect a queen, my king is pinned. So basically I have no choice. I had to take it, take it here, and king h1. And I had like a vague memory of this line with the pawn, I think, on a7, not with the pawn on a6, and I was not really sure what's the difference. So we played it out pretty quickly. My opponent suddenly played king h8. Right, because rook takes on f6 is a big threat, and how to deal with this? Apparently just walk away from the pin. And I'm sitting there and sitting there. Oh, wait a second. Wait. I do see a combination here. Now, can I carry it out? Oh, by the way, we had spent like maybe half an hour since the start of the round. And mind you, this was a classical time control. I think it was something like 90 minutes for the entire game. Maybe there was an extra half an hour after. I know, wait, it was not 90 minutes because back then there was no Fisher incrementation. I think it was like maybe 2 hours for the entire game and half an hour until the end of the game, something like that. There was definitely no increment back in 1999. So anyway, he played king h8. I'm thinking, can I play rook f6? It looks pretty cool. And I feel very excited because it seems it's working. Now, after rook x and f6, g takes on f6, I play queen h4, and the more I start to calculate, I realize I don't see any defense. Because if he here plays king g7 to defend the pawn, I play rook d3, rook g3. And I calculate like crazy here. For example, if he goes like here, I give a check. He goes here, I give a check, and his rook on g8 is falling, so this kind of works for me. I calculate some other lines, everything seems to be working. Then I'm checking, can he play rook g8, queen f6, rook g7, rook d8? No, it seems to be a mate. So finally I realized that after queen h4, his only move is... Oh wait, there's also f5 move? Yeah, f5, queen f6, king goes here. Now I cannot go rook d3 because of f4. And this I saw. But then I realized, wait a second, I mean I do have knight e5. Knight e5, knight e7 is incoming, so he cannot really stop it. And if he goes here, I really don't remember. I think I could just take on f5, and the attack continues. So suddenly, after queen h4, Jankovskis played queen c6, defended the pawn. I play knight e5. Again, my idea is that if he plays king g7, I play rook d3. Rook g3 is incoming. I have a killing attack. If he plays rook g8, I can take on f6. And by the way, here he had some miracle defense like bishop f5. which is, I mean, insane. The point is, if I take on e5, that's a mate on g2. If I take on g8, rook g8, and black lives. Or for a while anyway. I mean, he's down a pawn, but he's not lost. So he missed it, and instead, after knight e5, he played f5. And he probably felt that he's holding on. And I was like, wait, what about knight f6? Knight f6, that's a threat here. How do you defend? And here he realized after king g7, queen g5, I have queen h6. And it's time to resign. And that was a huge shock, because after knight f6, my opponent here sat for like, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes in disbelief. He resigned. I was unbelievably happy. So not only I had won the final round, but I became the Latvian champion at age 16. So it was massive congratulations. Back then, I remember everyone was like so shocked, because we're expecting that this game is going to continue for a while, like the fight of the leaders. Of course, my direct competitor, who was trailing me behind by half a point, he was incredibly unhappy to see that I won the game, because he was hoping I'm going to draw, he's going to win, and he did win his own game. Then we would have to play a title match for the championship, and now I was just winning the tournament straight with 7 points out of 9. So what it meant, this meant at the time that this was my biggest accomplishment of my career so far, being only 16 years old. I got the national master title with this victory, and also I was included in the Latvian national team for the upcoming European Team Chess Championships that would be played later that year in Georgia. So essentially, this game symbolizes how my path towards the chess professional and the Grandmaster title started. The victory in 20 moves, my first championship title in Latvia out of 4 titles. That's a game I'll definitely remember forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this nice and short game, please press like and write your comments. What do you think about it? Have you seen this pattern before? I'm curious to hear. And of course, if you enjoy my content, you would like to see more, please consider subscribing to my channel, as this will allow me to create even more videos. Thank you for watching. I'm signing off.